Hello everyone. Today we are going to study about chapter 1 geography of class 10, that is resources and development. Today we'll be focusing on two main topics, that is what is a resource and the types of resources. First up, let's take what is a resource. See, resource is everything and anything which is present in the earth, okay, or which is present in our environment, but it should be also satisfying our needs. So it should be also satisfying our needs. So resources are something which is present in the environment and it is satisfying our needs. This is the layman definition, but along with that, we also have to know that a resource should be technologically accessible, economically feasible, and culturally acceptable. Anything which is not technologically accessible, we cannot use it, we cannot extract it. Anything which is economically not feasible, then it will be very difficult for us to access that particular resource or buy that particular resource or get that particular resource. And something which is culturally not acceptable, we are anyway not going to use it. So what is a resource? A resource is something which is present in our environment and it satisfies our needs, as well as it is technologically accessible. We have the technology to access to that particular resource. Economically feasible, that means we have enough of economy to invest on that and extract that particular resource, and after extracting it should be worth extracting or investing that much amount of money, and it should be culturally acceptable to us so that we don't find it bad in using that. Now we will be moving on to the types of resources. Now if I classify resource, majorly I will be classifying it into natural and man-made, and we all know about this. Natural resources are provided by the nature. So if I give you examples here, water, air, petroleum, mineral, metal, all kind of raw material we get in the nature is known as natural resource. And what is man-made resource? Something which is made by human being, but human being uses these natural resources to make the man-made resources. Suppose machines require some metals to make, and metals we get it from the nature. Vehicles, again, vehicles require petroleum to run, it requires your metals to make, so that again we get all these things from the nature. Similarly, there are roads, there are many other things, buildings, we require all the natural things to make the man-made things. But this is a very simple classification. Today we are going to learn a little bit more on the classification. If you see your book, this particular page, you will get to see the classification of resources on the basis of origin, on the basis of exhaustibility, on the basis of ownership, and the status of development. So first let's take on the basis of origin. If I say on the basis of origin, means from where it has taken its birth. So on the basis of origin, I can classify resource as biotic and abiotic. So when I say biotic resource, the resource which is having life in it. Suppose fish. Is fish having life in it? Yes. Livestock. Does livestock have life in it? Yes. Is it a resource to me? Yes, of course it is a resource to me. I mean eating it, I mean using it, right? So any resource or anything which is having life in it and it is in use to me, it is satisfying my need, it is known as biotic resource. On the other hand, what is abiotic resource? The resource which is in use to me, but then it is not having life, it is non-living, that is abiotic resource. For example, rocks, metals, Okay, so the next classification is on the basis of exhaustibility. Now from the word itself it is clear, exhaust, something which gets over or which will get over, right? So if we classify it as renewable and non-renewable resources. If I say renewable resource, a resource which can be replenished, which can not get over, which cannot get over very soon, which will retain for a longer time. For example, wind energy, solar energy, if we use it, it is not going to get over. Okay, so forest and wildlife, they can get over, but then if we take care of them, they renew themselves. So basically renewable is which replenishes themselves and will not get over if we do not use it judiciously also, but we should use all the resources very judiciously, right? Next one, non-renewable resources, resources which will get over if we do not use them judiciously. So we should use these particular resources very carefully, okay, and should not waste them at all, like coal. Okay, so coal is a resource. If it gets over, then we cannot get it back again, because it will take millions and millions of years to make that much amount of coal again. Okay, so the next is on the basis of ownership. So this is very easy. Ownership means who is owning that particular resource. Suppose my house, who is owning it? I am owning it. If I am owning it, this particular thing is in use to me. Yes. It is technologically accessible to me. Yes. Culturally acceptable to me. Yes. Then it is a resource, and this is owned by me, so it is an individual resource. So a house is an individual resource. So basically you have to remember, anything or any resource which is individually owned by a person, by me, you, or anybody, that is a individual resource. Now when a group of people own a particular resource, that is known as community owned resource. For example, public park. In your locality, if there is a public park, okay, so the people from your locality will only go there and play and spend time. People from some foreign state will not come there to spend time for long. Okay, so that particular resource is community owned. We you all take care of that particular resource together. Suppose in a village there is a playground, all the children of the village take care of that particular ground, and not the children of the other place take care of that ground. So that is a community owned resource. Next is your national resources. National resource is something which is present in the territory of the country. Basically our individual resource and community owned resource, everything comes under national resource, but on a broader sense, everything which is present in the territory of the country is a national resource. But apart from that, in the territory of the country, apart from that, and the surrounding of our country, like we know India is a peninsular country which is covered by water from three sides. So if it is covered by water from three sides, on all the three sides, till 12 nautical miles from the coast, till 12 nautical miles is also the national resource. Now what do we get in this particular water area? We get corals, we get fishes, we get many other types of resources here, and this also belongs to us. Then, and the other countries also have their own water boundaries or the water areas. Now the next one is international resource, which means the oceanic resource which is beyond your 200 nautical miles. So till 200 nautical miles, after that, whatever water body is there, that belongs to the international body or international institution. And who owns it? The international institutions, the group of countries making those international institutions. Next is on the basis of status of development. So potential resource which is present, we know how to use it, we know where to use it, but we are not using it because we are not investing on it, right? That is, we have potentially, that is potentially stronger. For example, wind energy, solar energy in Rajasthan and Gujarat, we know it. If we access that particular thing, it is going to be very, very helpful, but we are not doing so. Maybe we don't have so much of money to invest on it. So it is a potential resource. Next is developed resource. Developed resource, I can give you the example of iron. We know from where to get it, how to extract it, where to use it. We have the technology, we have everything about this particular raw material and how to develop this particular raw material. So this is a developed resource. So in case of a developed resource, we know where to get it, how to get it, where to use it. We have everything, we have been using this particular resource. Next is your stock. So stock resources are basically which is present in our environment. We know how to use it, but we don't know how to extract it, or basically we don't have the technology to access it. For example, water. Water is basically your H2O. Okay, so we require oxygen in this pandemic. A lot of oxygen is required for the patients, but we have so much amount of water in earth, that means we have so much amount of oxygen also, but we do not have the technology to extract this particular oxygen from water. So what do you understand by stock? It is present in our environment, we know where to use it, but we do not have the technology to access that particular resource.